Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to all people, all colors, all languages, all races around the world, men, women, children. May you have the best day humanly possible. And today is kind of gloomy. We got this weather, but we're going to discuss all that. And I hope that everyone is okay through these storms that have been taking place. My condolences to the people in the Midwest who faced the storms, as well as to the people in Hawaii who lost their lives and lost their homes. And basically, they can't drink the water, even though the storm is subsided. They can't drink the water. Almost the same thing that happened with Puerto Rico. When these storms come in, you can't drink the water because the ground is polluted. We're going to talk about that today. But this message today is for those of pure light. So, for whatever goals all of humanity has set forth for today, as long as those goals entail and encompass the benefit of all humankind, may all those goals come to fruition. So let's just get right into it. Today's topic for the people of pure light, you will understand this, others may not. And the reason that this video is here is to explain religion and to explain how different people are coming from all different walks of life and may not, have full understanding of religion, or may not have full understanding of science, or may not have full understanding of human behavior. But we know all these things tie in because the Most High has set people in different directions to do different things, even though they are walking with Holy Spirit. And this is the reason why me personally, I don't speak in religious terms, even though what I am saying is that no matter what book that you are reading, no matter what Bible, no matter what Torah, no matter what Quran, no matter what your text is that you are reading, you will find your way to the truth if you are actually reading what's in those books, because they all point to the same direction. And like I said, as that direction is wide, it narrows because people make the choice. And this is what we're going to discuss today, how these choices are being made and how some of the nicest people can be actually possessed, and something that we don't talk about. And we're going to talk about it today. So today's topic is demons walk amongst us. When we think about demons, we think about things in the movies, these scary things, but let's really open up our eyes, because now we're going to look at what a demon is and how they work and how they function. And you'll find out that they are more so less likely to be an evil thing that's being projected to us than actually who they are and what they actually are. One thing that we have to remember, the devil himself, Satan himself, was mentioned as one of the most beautiful angels. So we can't look at these things as saying they're decrepit and they're this and that, because the Most High himself said, look, you were this before, you changed to this. It was a decision that was made that made that Satan ugly and detestable. That's what made the evilness that, that the world sees when they think about it. But he's never mentioned as being a ugly or evil person, nor is the demons that ran with him. So let's understand who they are. All right? But first I want to say, I know that the holidays are here. Many people around the world have some type of celebration going on or forthcoming. No matter what the person believes or the nationality believes, there's some sort of festival. Although these festivities are an acknowledgement of various human and non-human beings, the energy we give and offer is going only to one entity. We think that celebration, all of our energy goes to the Most High, and it doesn't, because this person, the Most High, doesn't operate in that way. Even, if we believe in Jesus Christ, and for those who do believe in Jesus Christ, he himself said that no, that all honor goes to your Father. So earthly celebrations are not something that we do to show that, we love the Father. It's what we do inside of our heart. It's what we do with our soul. This is how we celebrate, and this is how we appreciate that the Most High is within us. It's a spiritual connection, a spiritual celebration, and not a physical. And we're going to discuss the laws of physical nature and the unseen nature, laws of nature as well. So we know that all evil has a leader. Everything in life has a singular point. Even existence itself has a singular point. So we know that if there's evil, it has to go to a singular point, and it's known as a singularity. So, and from this power, this entity empowers not only the demons or jinn. This power also empowers physical possession. This is what will be discussed today. So, there is an influence, but there's also a physical power that takes place. Because these entities can't read your mind, that's the fail-safe that the Most High gave us. They cannot read our minds, so they're constantly watching. Now you understand why when you're on a job, you'll find someone staring at you, or why you're at a store and someone is staring at you. And, this can be, the school teacher. It could be a doctor. It could be, anyone. You could be your next door neighbor. But it's not them. You have to realize how these things work, and you'll see things in a different way, and these things will come to light when you understand what they are and how they work, because they've been working so long, and most people take away from the fact that, hey, I can't be possessed or I can't be brainwashed. We're finding out that all that's not true. So let's discuss human possession. Human possession, what it is, how it works, and how we can tell if we are dealing with a person who is possessed or highly influenced by demons, like you could say the entertainment industry. So there's some businesses that are huge as far as life goes, and they operate under one guise. So, this is how that works when we talk about highly influenced by demons. So the definition, if we understand what something is, then we can understand how it works. So let's understand what this word is. The definition of a demon is misleading, because the word is defined as an evil spirit or devil thought to possess a person or act as a tormentor in hell. And then there's the second meaning listed, which is a force, fierce or skillful performer of a specific activity. And how many times have we seen, something that we say that person has to be possessed, where when the first time we saw Michael Jordan take the basketball, go from the foul line, or Dr. J go from the foul line, and we were like, that's impossible. There's no way that a human can fly. They have to be possessed, almost like they have wings. So now we do understand how these things work, because remember, a demon is a force, a fierce, or skillful performer. So if what's in your heart is bad, even though you might not, directly be bad to other people, you can still be used as a vessel. And this is what they use. They use vessels, things that they can manipulate to manipulate the minds of others. This is how they operate. Okay? However, the real word for demon is actually the root word of a Greek word. So it began in Greek. So it wasn't in the Old Testament. It wasn't in, certain parts of the Bible until they were transferred into Greek, which this word was introduced. So understand that sometimes we're using words that don't even apply to what we're reading back in time. They mean something completely different. So we have to understand these changes, because when you go back to the root word, it's what they actually mean. So by changing these words, make them more palatable to everyone else, they become more accepting, even though all energy goes back to the root word being used, no matter how much we change it. And we're finding that out today. So in today's world, okay, go back for a second. So we're going to go back to what this Greek word is. The Greek word is called daimon. Daimon or daimon, meaning a spiritual being that influences a person's character. No more, no less. This is something that comes into you and influences you. So this is what a demon is, which makes sense now, because we see that this is what's happening. The other words, the other definition that was given at a later time, gives you a wide variety of different roads you can go to. However, the word itself is specific. It is the influence of a person's character. So this is how they make havoc upon this earth. So in today's world, we are experiencing war, and this war is not an earthly or a physical war. Even though we are seeing that wars people right now are standing at people's borders because they want to go to war. And the reason that they want to go to war is because they know how this system works. They know that, the more land that they occupy, this is where they've taken land. If we go back through civilization, we understand that, right before world empires changed, they went on this vast land grab where they went into war and took over lands and took over lands. And then the next civilizations that come in, they lay claim to these lands, almost like what we're finding where, the Israelites want to go back to Jerusalem, even though Jerusalem was occupied by Palestine, and, a few other countries had access to it. But because of something that happened earlier in civilization, they say, hey, well, look, we have the rights to this land. And this is what we're seeing. So again, it goes according to Scripture. There is nothing new that's under this sun that we are experiencing. So what you're experiencing, no matter what religious text you read, all these events have happened, they have occurred, and they've occurred constantly, over and over and over again. And this is what we're finding out for those of pure light, because when we come into pure light, we've almost realized an existence before here. So life here on this planet is different for us, because we know that this is only a laboratory. We're here to learn certain things and to put certain things into this vibration that is called Earth. And then from there, we go back to which we came, which is back to the Most High. So, which we all do in one way or another. For those of negative light, these people come right back to form these civilizations. So this is why, it happens over and over and over. But at the same time, this is a war that ends all wars. So this is far different from anything else that has ever been explained in time. This is the end-all, be-all war. So this is going to be the most violent of wars. All right? So the spiritual war that we're seeing is what I put up on the screen, where Hawaii was had a blizzard warning, but instead the snow itself became rain, and it devastated, the big island of Hawaii. But now, right after that, this storm is not done. It has done record catastrophic destruction throughout our Midwest. Something that hasn't happened. But what I'm here to say, and what others are here to say, is that this is only the beginning. These storms will come to everybody's doors, and no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, you are being judged. You're all being judged. At this point, we are being judged. So even though there's a spiritual war that's taking place, there's a physical war that's taking place, and this is what we're here to discuss as well, which is the war of souls upon the earth, because the love of the greater has cooled off. So now it's souls, and this is why COVID was here. There was a break. There was a time where God, the Most High, said, let me stop this world, give people a chance to think about where they want to go, what they stand for, what they believe. And when it happened, everybody was willing to believe in something better, to unite and be together, and that's how fast the cure came, because the cure was something that was done that was just beyond pure evil. It was like, hey, wait, don't give people a chance to think, let's get this stuff back started. So you saw the force of how these things came about, where other vaccines take years for them to figure out. They figured it out. And then we say technology. I say no technology. What I say is that, the person that we come to know as Satan or the devil, that this person was like, wait a minute, we cannot slow it down. I got these people's minds. I got them where I want them. I know my time is short. Get them back out there. They need to do this. So there is a war on souls, and that's the war that we see on earth. So it's not a war against country. These are wars of the soul, because remember, a country can only act upon violence upon another country if the people are willing to carry that out. So we're going to learn how this works throughout this. So we're not going to get into it, because we're only going to focus on what a demon is today. So, as long as I'm able to put these out, I'm going to speak. So to understand how demons work and who can become possessed, because anyone can. And you have to remember that. If we don't remember that, then we'll be easily, our brains, our minds, our hearts will easily be infiltrated. And that's something that you don't want, especially in a time like this, because in a sense you have to harden your heart to what is bad. Even if that means a friend that you've had for years, even if that means a family that you have to cut off, even if that means a job that you have to move to another job, even if it means having to go and relocate. You have to, at some point, you have to make these stands, because this is how we're being judged. And the people who are staying in these places, they've accepted their fate, and they're going to fight till they can't fight no more for what is here, which is not really worth fighting for, especially if there's no beauty. All the beauty we've taken out of it. We've killed the water, we've destroyed the land, we've poisoned the plants. I mean, we've done so much, destroyed the mountains, everything. No wonder the earth is doing what it's doing. It's fighting back. So to understand, again, how the demons work and who can become possessed, we will be discussing here. Many of us believe that when we say Hitler, or we say Idi Amin, or we talk about the people from Heaven's Gate, or we talk about, the things that the Catholic Church has done, you would all be correct to say that, this is evil, because we've seen it, and we've seen the things that have, the fruits that have manifested themselves from it. So, however, evil does not stop there, because evil is bound by the physical laws of nature. You and I are also bound to these laws of nature. The whole universe, all of creation is. So, by understanding the only weapon a demon can use against us, we can level the playing field. So it's just like understanding human psychology. If you understand the laws of nature, you understand religion, you know the only tools that this entity has and what it has to operate under. 3, no more, no less. And there's one sin that many of us push on to, Satan or the devil, which we can't, because we brought forth a sin, which some of you are going to find out that, wow, I never looked at it like that. Now we'll see, because it's there in black and white for all of us to read. But how many of us are comprehending what it is that we're reading? So this is where the average person, you and I, come into play. And before I say this, I want to say, fair use to, the entities that I'm about to mention, because these are physical businesses, physical things that are going on. But, it's not to say it's based on opinion. So I'm only using it to give an example of how something works, not to say take away from the people, say all the people are bad, and what have you, because not all people are bad. They're just in bad situations. Some of them not even knowing that they're in bad situations. So let's talk about these 3 tools, and then we'll talk about something real time and how this plays out. So fair use, educational purposes only, and it's only based on opinion. So the three tools are money, power, and control. That's it. So you would think somebody so, this evil entity that's running around and they can do this and they can do that and, they can make scary movies and they can do all that, but they only have three sources of power, where the Most High has infinite power over everything. They only have three when it comes to dealing with us, because we are bound by the physical laws of nature. We're physical beings, even though we're spiritual. So we have to, because we wear this avatar, we have to, we're held and we're bound by the laws of physical nature, held and bound by those laws. So they are too, even though they're spiritual. They have to work according to the laws of nature. So it's the three things that they can control, and those are their weapons. So now let's understand how this works in real time. And we're going to use a corporation, but we're going to say the corporation, the name of the corporation, which is Monsanto. They just paid out a lawsuit this past Thursday, which was $12 million. That was only one. I think back in 2019, they paid out like $11 billion. So these entities, money is no object. So now you're going to understand how power works. So they paid out $12 million because they illegally stored pesticides in Hawaii. Thank you. Now you know why the people couldn't drink the water once the storm was gone. It wasn't because of the salt water from the sea. It was because of the chemicals that were in the water. So thank you for operating above the law. So, but let's understand that. So we say the name of the company that acts as the head. So we would say that would be the head of power, Monsanto. And then because it has authority to act upon its own will outside of laws, this is power and how power works. Number two is money. The ability to manipulate the laws and the safety regulation, also to provide the drugs for people who are affected by these illegal acts of pesticides and poison. And you say, well, why drugs? Well, you have to understand that, evil is going to use everything and absorb everything to control everything. So by pushing the money to change laws, by pushing the money to enforce its power, they also bought out the former Bayer Corporation, which is a pharmaceutical, one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. They bought it out. Chemicals, pesticides, healthcare, pesticides, cancer, drugs, leukemia, drugs, hand in hand. So open our eyes. So this money stands as the influence to manifest its will in the physical world. So they use money because they know that people need money. They use a tool that everyone needs and are willing to bend their priorities over. As long as I don't carry the gun, I saw, they told me that they were going to shoot someone, but I didn't believe it. You're still guilty. You're still guilty. And this is the thing, that we're blamed. We're going to learn about that word blame, because we think that we can thank Satan or evil for that word. No, specifically, that is the first human sin, the sin that was brought on by humans, by a human mouth, and had nothing to do with the sin in the Garden of Eden. We're going to learn this today. So the third one is control. By the combination of power and money, grants control over thousands who work for this entity because they need money. Whether the person is bad, whether the corporation is bad, whether everything is bad, they still need the money and are willing to bend what? Their moral and social values. They throw them out the window and they say, well, I work for something bad, but that's not what I give to the world. I saw the gun. I didn't think that he was going to shoot. Hopefully we're understanding so far of this. So control is the combination of power and money. This grants control over the thousands who say, oh, they told me they were going to do it, but I didn't believe they were going to do it. This is for you. So this grants control over the thousands who work for this entity. Many new laws were being broken. Many new chemicals caused health issues. Many lied selling the product. Many lied about its safety. Many do not possess the right to even speak up because of signing non-disclosure. And these are people probably within that company who probably got some of the most severe health problems because of what they were producing. But yet and still they produced it because they need the money. They had to do what they had to do. And what this judgment time that we're in right now is to say, no, you're being held accountable to all that. That excuse is not going to work in front of the Most High. And the blaming that we do to one another is not going to work on the Most High. It's all depending on what did you do, what did you stand for, and what did you condone, and what's in your heart. So, however, the undeniable fact is, as this is how everyone is part and connected to evil intent, even the part-time soccer mom in the HR department, again, it goes to just because you work for a company and you don't see what's going on, but you know bad things are happening there, you're still condoning what it is that you're doing. So again, no one is, we're all being held accountable, even the soccer mom. So how and why? Well, this is an easy one. The average human operates on blame. Now we're going to talk about that word blame again. The only sin man has placed upon himself, i.e. Genesis chapter 3, verse 12, where it was in that garden. They had already, Eve, the devil lied, he lied to Eve. Eve lied, she lied to Adam. But God didn't ask him who told him to eat of the tree. Most High didn't do that. Most High was like, why? Why did, after everything I did and I'm giving to you, why would you go against me? You were supposed to be, head over your household, even though this happened. So Adam had a way out. So again, Adam chose the path that humanity took according to scripture. But let's look at what his response was. This is the first time that had nothing to do with the devil. It had nothing to do with Eve. He said, it was the woman you gave me. Blame. Not something from evil. Blame. It's the first sin that man directly put upon himself. So it showed again that man had the capability to become gods, to think like God, and to act like God. So now we understand what that verse actually is speaking about. So, because we operate on blame, and these entities know this, because remember, Satan, according to the Bible, was in that garden. So when he saw this, he was like, "Wait a minute! You just gave me the keys to your car. I don't even have to work as hard. It's like, well, you just threw me a bone." It was like, I'm going to go after it, because as long as you can blame, I can get you to do whatever I want you to do. And this is the world we are in today. So now we understand that word blame. That's why we should always use the word I or my, and be individual to say that this is how I feel and these are my thoughts. So if by using this word blame, all right, it is no wonder that we hear this: I would have not stepped out on our marriage if there was no storm, I would have not stolen your generator. If you did not bully me, I would have not acted upon the school. If you did not share your idea, I would have not stolen your idea. See, these are words that demons love to hear. They love to hear them because it makes you sin without you even thinking that you're sinning. That's why so much is played on your subconscious. Lastly, I want to leave you with how to tell. How do you know if someone around you is possessed? Remember, it can be anyone, even ones that you trust the most. And the way you know that this possession is real is all you have to do is look at any school shooting or any event, tragic event, where the person has done something so violent, so heinous, but then the first time that they appear before a judge, they look vulnerable. Almost like whatever was in them is gone. And that's how these things work, because they want to hurt you. They do not care about you. They don't love you. They don't have anything for you. And once you serve out a purpose that they can no longer use you, they move to the next person until they need something from you again. Outside of that, they leave you like a bad date, So don't think they might give you everything in the beginning, but in the end, you're really getting nothing in return, because they're going to strip you of everything and leave you to whatever fate lies in front of them. So these are the 3 ways that you can tell if someone is possessed. Number 1, the interest shown to you, meaning the need for you to believe. That's the very, very first thing. They can't operate unless they get you to believe something. So that's why they'll search and throw a lot of different things out. So if you're saying to yourself, what does this person want me to believe? Or what do they want me to think out of what is being said? You look at things in that sense, then you'll say, okay, now I understand what they want me to believe. And it's sad that we have to go through this, but you have to protect yourself, because they come every day, every second that they think of doing bad. So number 2 is the actions. Is this person speaking for themselves? Meaning, it's almost like an event that you go to, or an event that's upcoming. Say it's an event, for your job, and they're having a company party or something like that, and you're like, I don't want to go because there's certain people that I just don't want to deal with, and I deal with them enough on the job. I don't want anything to do with them outside of the job. I'm not going to go to this event. Now, you standing up for what you condone. You don't condone the actions of something, so you're not going to that event. Now, however, somebody that you trust, someone that's close to you, and they're like, oh, hey, you're going to the company party, and it's going to be so great. They're giving out this award, and such and such, and you've already told that person no, but out of the blue, they're coming up asking you again, like, oh, well, I just thought I'd make sure. Thought maybe if I came with you, things would be different. No, you're coming because you were pushed by someone else to come. So that shows a vulnerability of how these things are getting at you, even though they're not coming to you directly. You talk about this in other videos too. Narcissists are good for using that, and manipulators, people who get off on manipulating. Control freaks are good at this too. They'll use other people and come to you in that way. But even when you're dealing with the person who you call a friend or a co-worker who is saying this, even though they know how you feel, this is where you condone. You cut that person off. If you don't cut that person off and say, oh, well, I'll overlook it, no. You've already allowed this, whatever evil has traveled to that person to come into you. And remember, we have to allow evil to come into us. Evil cannot just walk up and say, hey, I want to jump in you. No, you have to allow it. So, number 3 is the eyes. And most people don't look people straight in the face. This is something that you're going to have to get used to if you don't do it, because you have to look for this, because it happens all the time. It'll happen with a liar. It'll happen with someone who's being deceptive. But it's prevalent when someone is possessed. Most people don't realize this because they see it happen and they think, oh, that person's just rolling their eyes. Now you're going to learn about what that means and what it actually is, the rolling of the eyes. Most people think it's, oh, I don't even try, no. You're going to find out. The eyes. These entities hate truth. They hate truth. They hate love. They hate all things that are positive. And most importantly, they hate the word no. No. That is the kryptonite to them, just like it's kryptonite to people here on earth. The word no, they get angry over it. There's a big difference. We hear no and we're like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's how you feel? All right, see you. No. When you say no to someone who's possessed and someone who already possesses that negative energy in them, no. They're coming and they're coming and they're coming. Like a wounded hyena. They're coming. And they want to devour you. Now you understand that scripture, like a roaring lion looking to devour. These people are angry. Entities, I should say. So when you present them with truth, love, or the word no, especially if the person still has some truth within them, you will literally see the eyes flip. You will literally see, and I've had conversations where I saw like a gloss come over someone's eye, and they're like, oh, I got what? No. Not during it, at the time of the conversation when it was happening, that I saw it as that, but then after realizing that no, this entity, that what they're doing is they've taken over the person. Their eyes are looking at you. So when you're speaking to them, it's almost like you no longer are speaking to the person. You're speaking to what's inside of them. And this is for people of pure light. You're going to have to get on that level, because we know that now, how these things work, how they move, and how to talk to them, how we see them. So I think I've got my camera on an angle, which I hope I don't. I'm hoping I don't, but I think I do. So look for that, where you're seeing these eyes flip. And I want to end with this. This is also a reason social media is promoting so many to do what they normally would not do. Do as thou wilt. Because this door has been opened as a portal, which allows them to go directly to the subconscious mind, offering internal visualization instead of physical realization, which is in reverse to the laws of physical nature. So this is why as humans we're touchy-feely. Our consciousness comes, and the way that we learn is from touching, feeling, experiencing things that we see, things that we touch. When we look through the eyes of social media, we're seeing an illusion. And when we get bought into that illusion that says, hey, do what you want, people are doing it. And we're seeing that. So even though there's good on social media, which is the message like this, educating people of how to take in the things that are being presented, the new technologies being presented to us, but how to act responsibly within those parameters, where many people are not. They have become, a slave to the system. And, the person who is, putting all this chaos upon this earth, they know that, because they've been perfecting their game since day one of existence. And they've gotten really good at it. Except one thing. The Most High will always put people on this earth like you and I that see through it and see exactly for what they are. So it's almost like we understand. We've hit a different level of consciousness where we're now we're in the realm with the Most High. So we understand. This is why we have no fear, and we're speaking the way that we speak, and we speak to other people the way that we speak, because we understand who we are, and all people should understand who they are. But most people, again, are fighting for something that's not real, and it's this what we see right here, which is actually a laboratory that we're in. So for everyone, have a beautiful day. I hope that, for those of pure light, I understand that you got this message. But for those who might stumble upon this and are trying to put these things and to figure these things out, hopefully, time and, just ask the Most High to, open up your eyes so that you can really see what's going on. Because again, these devastations have not stopped, and just to bring us back to, what happened in Hawaii and what happened last night, across the Midwest, all these lines of tornadoes and all these storms and all these massive winds. We're hearing. So it's at our door. It's at our door. That war is here. And how will how will we be remembered from this? Will we be the civilization that gets it right to say, hey, we need to really come together? Because one voice can stop a war. One voice can stop famine. One voice can stop crime. One voice can stop bad relationships. One voice can stop our children from running into schools and shooting everything up. One voice can stop us from being ripped off by politicians and everything else. And one voice can change what we watch as far as the entertainment industry goes. But that one voice is all right now being controlled by what or who? And then we say, well, if our voice is so small, then we have to understand who is running this world that we're in and how these demons are roaming about through it and working through people. So with that, everyone, have a beautiful day. Have the best day that's humanly possible. Be nice to one another. Seek love, seek understanding most of all. And seek out wisdom, to help us to be better to one another. Because morning motivation for the average person is not to tell a person to say, hey, look for the bad in what the world is. No, it's actually to say, we accept what's going on in the world because we understand what's going on in the world, but it doesn't have to stop us from being good to other people, and it doesn't have to stop us for having love for ourselves. And with that, everyone, no matter what goals you have set forth for yourself, may those goals come into fruition. And no matter what color, men, women, children, no matter what language, no matter where you are from on the face of this earth, may you always be blessed in everything that you have put forth. May it come to fruition. And with that, everyone, peace.